Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm very excited to introduce to you the Honda CBR 1000RR Fireblade 2010 model. I'm really excited about this one. I had a chance to come to London today and to drive it, to do a review on this bike. It's my cousin's bike. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm surprised by it, because I have ridden this bike before. But anyway, every time when I'm riding it, it's just crazy, man. The power that it has is just unbelievable. I can't get over the power of this bike. I haven't ridden any of the very new bikes like the S1000RR or the new Fireblade or the new ZX10, but this is just mental, man. Deci zici că ajungi în paradis. We have a 1000cc engine with 178 horsepower and 198 kilogram weight. First thing that comes in my mind when I'm getting on the bike is the comfort, the riding position, because I'm not used to this kind of riding position. For me, it's pretty bent over. Reduced speed, so we're in a 30 mile per hour zone, so we need to take it slow. Yeah, so as I was saying, the position is very bent forward, very lean forward, so you really have to get used to this, because even though I can take the pain in my wrist, even though I can take the pain on my knees because they are very up high, the pain that is killing me the most is my neck pain, because you're not sitting in a straight natural position with your neck. Basically, when you're sitting like that with your hands so low, it makes you feel downwards on the street and not upwards like to the street, to the far point. So you have to keep your neck high in order to see forward, which is very unusual for me, because my bike, my Kawasaki Z1000SX, go. I have an idiot behind me that he's just tailgating me. It's just crazy. Let me turn quickly here, because I don't want to go forward anymore. I've ridden it a lot today, so let's turn around quickly. Of course, on slow maneuvering you have to be very careful, because the turning point on the steering is pretty low, and because of the position it's pretty hard to maneuver it in tight spaces when you're doing tight maneuvers as well. Okay, we're fine now. Yeah, so as I was saying, once you get going, it's really nice and really easy to maneuver, but in very tight spaces when you are standing still, it's pretty hard to do that. Let's talk about the engine and the gearbox. The engine, what can I say? I love it. The fuel consumption, it doesn't even matter to me, because you're not getting one of these bikes to do this kind of fuel consumption thing. But it's probably somewhere between 35 and 40 if you're driving very sensible, and otherwise it's somewhere like 30-25 miles per gallon probably, but it really doesn't matter. The engine on this bike is just crazy, man. It has so much power. You have to be really careful with it, because it can take your head off. It can shave it off of your body. Basically your soul falls behind while your body still goes with the bike. It's just unbelievable. The gearbox is really nice and elastic. I like it that even in town, let's see, let's go to 4th gear. We're in 4th gear now, 30 miles per hour, and it's very easy. It has no problem of going slow. It doesn't want to make you like go faster and faster and faster. And this is one thing that I like a lot. In the 1st and 2nd gear, when you are in a very low RPM, it does have a bit of a burble and a bit of a, like, it doesn't like it. But probably it has to do with this Leo Vince GP pipe as well. We're gonna do the test drive first, and then we're gonna do the review. I'm gonna show you the bike, introduce you to the bike, and ask a couple of questions to my cousin that is using the bike for commuting. I wouldn't say that it's the best bike to use it for commuting, but he likes it a lot. He got used to it so much. oh my god, it's ready to go, man. It's ready to go all the time. You can clutchless shift this bike really easy, and you can downshift even easier. Look at this. And you just want to go, man. I know that people nowadays, they like those two-cylinder engines because they are a little bit torqueier, but to be honest, look at this 3000 RPM in 4th gear, and it just goes, man. I mean, I know that it doesn't have that like very low RPM torque, but to me this is my favorite engine. The 4-cylinder inline engines are just my favorite because they make a very nice sound. I mean, listen to that, man. How can you not like it compared to those 2-cylinder engines? It's just even that crossplane Yamaha R1 engine, I don't like the sound of it. It's just not for me. This is my favorite one. I'm gonna introduce you to a bit of history to the Fireblade as well while we're doing the review. Let's go left here, because this is what the GPS is saying. The maneuvering is very easy. I mean, once you get going, as I was saying, it has 198 kilo. So look at this. I mean, it's very easy. I can do that even for only with my body. It's a lot of things that is happening here, so I need to be very careful, because you can't stay relaxed on this bike. I don't know. When I'm riding my bike, the Kawasaki Z1006, I'm more relaxed. Everything is at a slower pace. You're more in like a touring position, even though you have a lot of power with that bike as well, 140. This one is just a missile compared to that one. And if you're a beginner, I really don't recommend this bike, because it's just too much, man. It's just too much. It's just too much of a bike for a beginner. It's hard to handle compared to a 600, and to be honest, the super sports bike are always hard to handle compared to a naked bike or a sports touring bike, or not to mention the adventure bikes, which are a lot easier to ride than these super sports. You always have to be 100% concentrated. You can't think of anything else, and this is one thing that I like, because getting on the bike, it's about being with yourself, leaving the problems behind, and just concentrating on riding on the road, and just feel free. So this is one thing that I love about bikes in general, to be honest, not only about this one. But this one, believe me, it makes you concentrate even more than the others. I love the way it looks. Being on a bumpy road, let's talk about suspension. So as you would have expected from a sports bike, the suspension is pretty hard. So it's not plushy at all. So don't expect miracles in this bay. Man, look at this, man. It struggles a bit there on the low RPM, probably because the mixture fuel air is not very good, having that level of GB pipe. So probably the ECU has to be remapped. But anyway, I just love it. I just love it. But one thing that I wanted to say, that you have to bear in mind when you buy this kind of super sports bike, that you can't really enjoy them to the max, because on a bumpy road like that is not really fun at all. I mean, it's pretty bad because you're staying bent over like that, and suspension is pretty hard. You can't use the power at all. So the only place that these bikes are shining, it's only if you want to do some like speed pulls. So if you're in Germany, for example, this is going to be a lot of fun on the German Autobahn, and also on a racetrack. Believe me, these kind of bikes on racetrack, they are just shining, my man. It's something else. The power, but as I was saying, in my opinion, I think you have to be a very advanced rider in order to be able to control one of these beasts. But it's full potential, you know, not only just to ride it slowly, and because everyone can ride one of these, but believe me, the capacity of the bike exceeds your power of maneuvering, of controlling it. The bike will do a lot more than you are able, unless you are a MotoGP rider or a Superbike championship rider, because it's just, the power on it is just crazy, man. It's just crazy. I love it. Let's draw some conclusion after we're seeing the review, the static. So we're gonna jump back to conclusions and see. Oh my god, look at this one here. Come part there, mate. You know how the English are saying. Yeah. So I'll get back to you in a second. guys, we're back, and let me show you what's this Honda about. So here we have, like I was saying at the beginning of the video, Honda CBR 1000RR Fireblade. But firstly, let me introduce you to a small history of the Honda Fireblade. So Tadao Baba in 1992, so quite a while ago, he made his model as a reply to their own Honda model, the RVF 750, because the RVF 750 was competing in races. So he created this model just to compete against their own model, basically. So firstly, he thought that he should use the same engine, but put it in a street bike, so the same 750 centimeter cube engine. But then he realized that he can do more than that. So this is how he came up with CBR Fireblade, which was a 900 cc engine. It had 145 horsepower, which at the time in 1992 was basically a rocket, like a street rocket. Nothing was comparing to it. It was looking brilliant. I mean, I love the way it looks even now, even if it's like 35 years old. I just love it. They're brilliant. After that, there were like more models and facelifts of the same models, but he basically changed the whole design and the whole thing in 2000, and he came up with fuel injection system as well. So this is how he came up with the CBR 929. It had an increased power as well. It had 150 horsepower compared to 145, so we have a gain of about 5 horsepower, and he redesigned the whole body. And also he added a 17-inch wheel on the front, which was something new at the time. But unfortunately, the guys from Yamaha came with the R1 as well, and basically everything stopped in there because the R1 took everything, like the looks, the engine, the design, everything. So in order for him to catch up with the Yamaha, he came up with the new model, which came in 2002, and it was the CBR 954 Fireblade. In my opinion, it was called 954 because this is the centimeter cube that the engine had. 150 horsepower the same, but he tweaked a lot of bits and pieces, and they claim that it was changed 80% of the pieces that were in the bike. They were completely new. The CBR 954 is one of my favorite Fireblades. I'm just gonna I'm gonna drop some photos with each model that I'm talking about to see how they look. But the CBR 954, I think, is my favorite. At some point, I used to have a CBR 600 F4 99, and the CBR 954 was my favorite bike. So I wanted so bad to have one of those, even though the Yamaha one was in every kid's mind. I wanted that CBR because I think it looked amazing. It was very light as well. It was just amazing. After that, in 2004, they came up with a new model. I'm going to show you with a twin headlight and with an under-seat exhaust. It was looking very good as well, but unfortunately for Honda, the Suzuki came up with the GSXR 1000RR, and again it took all the awards and everything, racing, design, street design, and everything. In 2008, they came up with this model, which was a complete redesign. And here it is. This is a 2010, which means that it's a bit changed from the 2008 model. So we have, for the first time, combined brake system on a super sport bike. The combined brake system, which only Honda have, by the way, is the when you're gonna brake with the front, is gonna brake on the back as well, and the same when you're gonna apply the rear brake, is gonna apply the front brake as well. We have ABS, but other than that, there is nothing. So everything is analogic. There is nothing whatsoever. We have 178 horsepower and a wet weight of 198 kilos, which is great. It's very nimble, as you would have seen already in the test drive. In my opinion, I think it looks great, especially with this. This one has an aftermarket fairings, and I think the color combination is really nice, and I like the way she looks. Just come closer and let me show you the dash as well, because as I was saying, everything is analogic, so there is nothing digital in here. Let me put ignition and show you a bit.
So I think it looks great, but one of the downsides is the fact that it doesn't have a fuel gauge. So you don't know how much petrol you have left until there is a small light in here telling you that you're on reserve, so you should go put some petrol. Other than that, we just have normal like indicators, hazards, low beam, high beam, and just ignition there in the right side. We have a fully adjustable suspension. Unfortunately, we don't have a preload adjustment, so you can adjust the suspension on the go if you're gonna have a pillion or some luggage. But I don't think this bike is designed to have a pillion, so it doesn't really matter. We have an Leo Vince GP exhaust, which by the way sounds great. You would have seen that already in the test drive. I think it sounds amazing, especially that it doesn't have the decibel killer in. I was complaining while I was riding about the position, so let me show you how I look on the bike. So this is the position when you're sitting on it. You are very, very bent over. So I don't mind the wrists, I can take the wrist pain. I don't mind the knees, I can take the fact that the knees are very high up. But one thing that I really, really dislike is the fact that, so your natural position with your head and neck is basically like that, facing downwards. What you have to do, especially when you have the helmet, bear in mind that while having the helmet on, it's gonna take a bit less view. So you have to do that. So basically you're not staying in a natural position, and especially with the helmet on, it's really, really hard. Especially for me, which I'm not used to this kind of riding, because my bike, the Kawasaki Z1000RR has the clip-ons on top, so I'm staying somewhere like that in a very neutral position. But with this one, you're very bent over, and after half an hour, 1 hour of riding, I can feel the pain here. But maybe it's just my case, because I've seen a lot of guys riding this kind of bikes, even when they are in their 60s or even 70 years old people. I've seen it. So maybe it's just me, or maybe it's just the thing of getting used to it. Now let me call the owner of the bike. The owner of the bike is my cousin, so we'll ask him a couple of questions about the bike and to see what he thinks. So here is my cousin, the owner of the bike, and let me ask him a couple of questions. So how is it to commute on a super sports bike in London with so much traffic and crazy people and whatever?
Well, it's not the easiest thing because, as you know, it's a big bike, but it's better than going with a train or anything like that. The position is not the best because, being a super sportive, you have to stay bended. But for me, it's more than perfect.
Would you change the bike for something more comfortable, let's say, if you would have the chance?
Well, I'm keep thinking of this, but I don't know, to be honest with you. This is my first bike and I really love it.
Yeah, I think once you get used to it, you really don't want something else, because you're getting used to having a lot of power at your wrist, and it's very hard to give up on something for something else. Have you had any technical problems so far?
Well, the only things that I had was my starter, which gave up somehow. Otherwise, nothing. Just
Yeah, so just the normal oil and oil filters and whatever, and yeah, everything was fine. We're on 29,000 miles already, the UK miles, not American miles, for my American friends. So yeah, he haven't had any problems with it so far, which is great. So you know how they say, Honda reliability is the best. So this is it, guys. Let's jump back on and see the conclusions and my thoughts about this bike.
And we're back. So if you're asking me if you should buy this bike, well, it really depends what you want to use it for. If you want to use it just in town for short rides, just to go to a coffee shop, like to look cool on it, yeah, that's fine. But this bike is meant to be ridden hard, and I think the racetrack is where it belongs, because I see no point in riding this kind of bikes on the street. I mean, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I'm gonna admit that it's fun. On a weekend blast, go with your mates. It's fun. But you have to have some nice roads, because as I was saying, the suspension is pretty bumpy. So if you find some very nice roads, then yeah, it's cool. If not, just forget about it, just buy something else. Commuting as well is pretty hard on this bike, so I don't recommend it for commuting as well. And obviously you can't do long runs on it, because probably after 1 hour of riding your back is gonna feel sore. Even though I've seen people in their 60s, 70s doing that, at least for me, this is not a bike that I would want to have. Just to have it, just to know that I have it, you know. But not, I wouldn't choose this bike over some other bikes, which was more comfortable to ride. Let's do some slow maneuver again, and we're gonna turn around and go back home, because that was it pretty much. The Waze doesn't know what to do. Yeah, so that was it for today, guys. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet. Share it, like it, and of course I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for your comments, negative comments, positive comments, whatever comments you might have. But yeah, this bike is just crazy, man. It's just crazy what these bikes are capable nowadays. Even back in 2010 when this bike was done, it's just unbelievable. It's just blowing my mind. They're just crazy bikes. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.